הנה מה טוב. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Hine ma tov, indeed, it's really good to be together this evening. Welcome to everyone who is here in our sanctuary. Welcome to those who are joining us online as well. This evening is a special Shabbat. It's known as Shabbat Shuvah, from the word teshuvah, or to return. The Shabbat placed in between the days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, knowing that the work of returning to our wholest self is not something that we could do in an hour or even in a day. We need multiple days, a series of days, a period of time to do that work. This is the Shabbat that falls during that time in between, and for each and every one of us, my hope is that even as we might be in a familiar service, a familiar time, that it might be an opportunity to continue a little bit of that work that we've done on the day of Rosh Hashanah, and that as we enter into the end of our 10 days of Teshuvah, the days of return, that we might come to that last day, having been given another gift of one more holiday in the middle, where we can stop, reflect, and perhaps connect again with that deepest and wholest part of ourselves. To help us get into this holiday this evening, we have a handful of treats. One is simply our evening together. You'll notice that many, many hundreds or thousands of years ago, we were given additional sections of our service. The prayer book actually that we have at Temple Israel and across the Reform movement was deliberately made with open spaces in mind, so that it would give us space as we saw it to kind of let our minds wander around those pages as well. But today, we actually use the insertions that were placed in those open sections. So you'll see throughout at different times of the service that Cantor Cooper and I will add little sections. Look for the fine print.
It's very small.
It'll be added, during our service. This evening, we also have a couple of other tremendous, tremendous treats. One is we have the incomparable Bill Shafton with us, offering his incredible music, bringing us into this holiday, knowing that there is nothing quite like music for opening our hearts and letting us do that work of return, of having an opportunity to celebrate Shabbat. Bill, thank you for being here. We have another treat as well. Each and every week, we get the incredible gift of David York's music, and I really mean it, that it feels like Shabbat when I hear you playing, David. David is going to be offering his music and be playing this evening from the piano, but we also have another piece of return here at Temple Israel. As this Shabbat, and throughout the year, various different Shabbatot, we are going to engage as well with our beautiful organ. And so you'll see David at some point in the service, and it's not because of something that either Cantor Cooper has said. What's something I said? And he's going to enter the organ loft so that he can bring that organ music to us this evening. A true treat. David, always to have your music and to have another mode, another voice for your gifts. I mean, these are treats. Well, let's begin continue our service with the words of Shir Chadash, reminding us that new songs and new voices bring new meaning to our experience, our tradition. You'll find the words of Shir Chadash on page 13 of our prayer books, page 13. Let's sing together.
Adonai, kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz, Adonai, Shir Chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Adonai, kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
Well, just as these new music and this new music and these new melodies have been brought to our community generation after generation, so too do we have a relatively new prayer offered in our service. New because in the Jewish community it's only hundreds of years old. The Lecha Dodi was a poem written by the Kabbalists of Tzfat, sitting up in the mountains and welcoming in this day of Shabbat. They felt like it was somebody actually walking through the door, joining them on their day. And so they likened this moment to a wedding. This particular prayer has a custom as a part of it as well, that not yet, but when we get to the final verse of this prayer, we'll actually turn to the door that we entered our sanctuary through. And we'll rise and bow as if Shabbat were coming into the door, joining us here in our sanctuary. Let's sing together on page 20 of our prayer books.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala. Shabbat nekabela, shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiveret v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, ki va'orech kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai elayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise and face the door as we welcome in the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha ubzola, toch emuneam segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated. Well, on this Shabbat and every Shabbat, as we turn to lighting our candles, we allow the light of those flames to remind us to keep hope and light alive, even in a world that seems like at times it is too far away from it. You'll notice with our candles that there is a third blue candle, and this blue candle we started lighting in honor of the hostages that are still being held after October 7th. In our tradition, freeing the captive is one of the very, very highest and most important things that we might do. And so we light this candle as a reminder to bring them home. That said, we know also that Israelis are not the only ones placed in harm's way in this moment. Surely, each and every one of us have hearts that are wide and great enough to hold the pain of the Palestinians who are placed in harm's way, along with each and every one of our friends and family who are in Israel. As we place light on these candles, I place also a hope for the safety of every person caught in that region and a peaceful resolution to this terrible conflict.
Shalom.
Let's continue with the words on page 28 of our prayer books. Page 28, please rise in body or in spirit. Page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotem berakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mibnei choshech, v'choshech mibnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, Umavdil ben yom ben laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch alenu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv haravim. Page 32.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, uvkumenu na'asiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We continue with a prayer quite familiar and a melody for this time of the year. We'll sing together on page 40.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נעדר בקודש, נורות תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Page 42.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Peace and friendship be a shelter from the storms of life. God, help us to find the right people to circle ourselves with, and live with hope in our hearts, each day seeing eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your good work. Continue on page 44 with the words of Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Well, we've come to that core of our service, that moment of meditation made public in the words of our prayer book. And as we go through the words that will follow, you'll find some of the insertions that I mentioned earlier. For all of us, as we sing these words that are both familiar and new, my hope is that it can be a meditation. As we continue on these days of teshuvah, of return, may it be a reminder of what is familiar and what's new in our lives. Those things resting in our hearts and coming to the surface of our minds now, because we're ready for a new year. Please rise in body or in spirit. We'll continue on page 46.
Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor veHanorah, El Elyon, טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אמן. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני המלך הקדוש.
We continue silently, either using words on the pages to follow or other words we might find in our hearts. We'll join together again on page 60. When you've completed your prayer, please feel free to be seated.
tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol ir ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam.
All right. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Stump the clergy. No, ask the clergy. And this is where we've offended David. And if, for some reason it said on the things that went out, ask the rabbi. I assure you, you'll get better answers from Cantor Cooper. But it is for both of us. We're hoping that you can ask us. Also, you know, rabbi means teacher, and who of us have not learned from Cantor Cooper? I'll just leave it at that. So, and actually, before we even get started, I wonder if I could have a volunteer just to kind of, move around with the microphone to kind of, bring to anyone who might have a question. Bill, please. Yeah. So, questions? Yes, you, sir, in the gray suit. Yeah. Mark, go ahead. I think it might not be on. It might be muted. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Mark, I'm sorry. It's not working. Any other questions?
One question a person.
I want to hear them, but just a moment, because those online, I want, Mark, I want those who are online to be able to hear. It'll be hard for me to repeat the question exactly as it is. Bill, thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Check. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bill. Okay, Mark, please.
The first question is, how do you unmute the microphone?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. I have two questions.
Please.
They're similar. First one I think is easier. Here's the first one. What does it mean to reflect?
That is a really good question.
You have wait till the second.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cantor, do you want to take the first one? Or
I'll
take the first one. Okay. All right, I'll take the first one. So, it's interesting. Years ago, I met with someone who was an organizer for people who are doing social justice work. And he was talking about what are the exercises you do with people to help them get into the work and learn what work needs to happen. Because, you look at it and you say, okay, racial equality, we need racial equality, but what do you do to get to that, right? Now, it's really important to point out that there are whole institutes that do, work in researching what are effective methods, all of that. But he was working more on the ground level with people who wanted to get involved. Honestly, it was on a college campus. And the first thing that he did was he sat the students down and he had them sit and write. Write about their experiences in the particular area that they were working, write about their thoughts and things that they might think work better. And he pointed out that any time we are reflecting, any time we stop to think about the things that need to happen, we're learning, which is a surprising thing because we usually learn by opening up a book and getting information that we didn't have already, information from without, and it's critical to learn that way as well. But a spiritual journey, and especially the spiritual journey of the High Holy Days, has to do with learning not just, learning very specifically what we already have, what we already know, but we haven't stopped to take the time to listen to. So reflection, especially in the spiritual context, is an opportunity to pay attention to all the things that we've been running around, we've been doing different things, and we just kind of put it in our pocket. I'll think about that later. I'll think about that later. And to really hash it out and think about, I really do want to spend more time with my kids. What does that look like? Or the things that I'm doing at work are meaningful, but there's certain things that I want to change about it. Or, I don't know, I want to get better night's sleep, whatever it might be. I don't know why better night's sleep came to my mind especially. But these are things that only come from stopping and reflecting, and that's a spiritual task. I'm a little wary to ask what this second question is.
That was a much better answer than I could have given.
Yeah, the second one I don't think has a good answer, but here it goes.
Okay.
What does it mean to forgive?
So actually, it's interesting to take that one too.
Go ahead. I have a thought, but go ahead.
Actually, go ahead. Please.
To me, forgiveness. I mean, I look back on people that have done things to me. It's more about yourself. Maybe that other person you don't trust anymore, or they've done something so terrible to you that you forgiving to me doesn't mean that you let them back in your life or anything like that. It's for yourself. It's that you don't carry that burden anymore, so that you're not holding on to those negative feelings. It's letting go of the wrongs that you feel have been done onto you, so that you can move forward, but not necessarily saying, okay, I totally forgive you, so I'm going to let you do this thing to me over and over again. Does that make sense? It's more about your own personal letting go and moving forward with your life and not holding that grudge.
If you're asking me, that's one explanation for it.
What would you?
I'm sorry, I was saying if
Beautiful
you're asking
answer.
me what I think of that, I think that's one aspect of forgiveness. You're saying it's for the benefit of the harmed, not the harmer.
You might not even see the harmer again. Maybe it's somebody like I coming up with someone in my head that said something to me that was really awful when I was young, and I had the hardest time letting go of it. And he doesn't remember it. He's moved on with his life, but I'm still thinking about it. So I think that sometimes something happens to you and you hold onto it for so long and it affects your life so much. Well, that other person has just moved on. And I think part of forgiveness is allowing ourselves to move on so we don't hold on to those things.
Amen.
Yeah.
David in the back. Thank you very much, Bill.
Sorry to bug you with this question, but it is kind of in the Bible. What is the most common type of angel amongst the 10 high-ranking angels?
So there's a lot of discussion about angels, not just in the Bible, but throughout the rabbinic literature. One of the things specifically about angels is the honest truth. It's not consistent. It's a little bit like the afterlife, which can be another question if anybody wants. There are lots and lots of different approaches to what is an angel, what happens, how does it act in the world. Many of the rabbinic scholars will take a look at the angels and say that these are all the hands and feet of God, but it is a very different way of being than in other cultures. For example, if you look at the tail end of the Bible, the book of Job, which is perhaps one of the most compelling books ever written, and certainly in the Bible, there's an angel that actually does terrible things. The angel is called Hasatan, which later was kind of brought into other Western cultures and thought about in a different way. Our Hasatan is a little bit different, but it's actually seen as an angel of God. So the different angels of God are the really kind of divine actors in the world, and there's many different ones, right? There's Raphael, who loved anchovies on his pizza. Just kidding. No, the healing presence of God, or Michael, that part of the world that gives us wonder, and the God that comes down, the angel that comes down that is meant to be kind of an extension of God. But in terms of an angel that acts more than any other, it kind of depends on which text you're looking at, because a lot of the angels not only end up in Midrashim, the stories in between the text, but different rabbis and different texts will wonder about different angels at different times.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The word for angel is also, we can say messenger, right?
Yeah,
it's the same word,
absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Uh-oh. I don't know if we're giving microphones to Marks this evening. Please.
Does the Torah or the Talmud or Judaism in general have an opinion about what's called universal basic income or guaranteed income,
Ooh.
where everybody in society gets at least a lower level of income to survive?
Can I answer this
Yes,
one?
please.
Okay, well. All right, so first and foremost, I don't think it's a mistake. Now, these ideas were not originated with Karl Marx, but a lot of these ideas grow out of Karl Marx, and Marx drew it from a number of other thinkers as well, right? But universal basic income is the idea that everyone should get the same amount, and the idea, the goal of it, is to create equality across the community. Now, it doesn't say necessarily anything about specifically universal basic income or the idea of every single person getting the same amount. But in my opinion, the Torah is constantly grappling with the idea of inequality in society and constantly trying to figure out what to do with it. So it starts with Pharaoh being this god of a person in society and lording his wealth over all the slaves. And we identify with the slaves. Although some scholars have said, Jews, yeah, we're a group that came out of the Egyptians. There actually were other Egyptians that we might have identified with, and even other Egyptians that went with the Israelites. But that's neither here nor there. The Israelites continue on their journey, and they keep going, and they try to figure out all these different ways of creating that equality. So one of the ways that they do that is they talk about a tax. They say it's not fair. Some people end up with more things than other people. So we need to find a way of leveling that out, and they try taxes in two different ways, almost as if they were writing for the conversations that we're having today. One tax is a flat tax. You don't treat people differently. Everybody has the same amount. Everybody gives a half shekel. That's what the tax is that everybody gives. And then they use those funds to help the people who are in need. But all of us know that if you have somebody who's wealthy and drives through a red light and gets a ticket for $100, it's not the same impact as somebody who is scraping by financially and drives through that same red light or makes a mistake, whatever it might be. It's a much bigger impact on them. So I think they were grappling with that also, and they talked about having a tax that actually also was somewhat by percentage. By the time you get to Maimonides, he's talking about tzedakah being 10 to 20%, that no one should give less than 10, no one should give more than 20 of their income. The question of whether taxes fit into that is a whole another question, and I'll try to wrap up this answer in just a moment. But even by Maimonides, you're talking about percentages and what is right in that sense. But still, there's inequality. Even with taxes, none of us have ever encountered questions of how the tax money might be. This is the stuff of society, right? So the Torah continues to wonder about this and actually has this idea that every 7 years and every 7 times 7 years, 49 or 50, all bets are off. They completely level the playing field. No one who had a debt for another person continues on that debt. The idea is to try and wipe the slate clean. They didn't... Forgiving the debt, essentially, yeah. They weren't able to solve the inequalities in society, but they struggled with it considerably, trying to figure out ways to create that equality, and I think that that's part of what we have today. You had said, does the Torah or the Talmud or the rabbinic writings, I think that continues to writers today. I mentioned Marx deliberately, but there's many others who have also tried to grapple with, and not perfectly, but also tried to grapple with the idea of universal basic income and other ways of creating equality among our society. Maybe we'll get it in a couple of years, I don't know. But they certainly grappled with it, they certainly asked.
The U.S. Bankruptcy Code mirrors that same principle. Every 7 years you can file for bankruptcy again. It's like that clean slate. But
I didn't know that. That's really cool. Thank you, Bill.
Rabbi, you and I have, I've asked you this question before.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I've forgotten the answer.
Me too.
Well, no, I think you know it. At the end of the Kaddish, and it's not in our Siddur, you inject the word something, Yoshvei Tevel.
Yoshvei Tevel.
Yeah. And I'm just curious as to why you do that, and will there be an errata sheet that's put in?
So we could, we certainly could. There's a lot of discussion about how to sit in a space and call our own when at the same time seeing the global world in need of repair. So when you look at the Kaddish, actually, interestingly enough, if we're in Israel, my cousin is actually in the States right now, and when I would go to services in these little kind of shtibels with him in Jerusalem, these young kids in their teenagers and early 20s creating their own little synagogues in spaces around. Now, he's Orthodox, but they're trying all these different creative things. That's where Shir Chadash and all these different groups have come out of. When they read the very same words that we read, they say, I'm forgetting the exact words, but it says something like, bringing life to Israel. And he says, instead of Chaim, he says Chaim Tovim. He takes the words that are in the Kaddish prayer and he adds to it. The idea being that it's an invitation for us to think better and to think about, to think better about the world, even in a point of mourning, that there might be a hope for peace. And so they talk about that in that. We, in the Reform movement and in a lot of other liberal spaces in the United States, have added to the words, let me see, it's page 294 because I've memorized that page. If you look, Aseh shalom b'marav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. May the one who brings peace create peace, makes peace on high, create peace here for all of Israel. And for us, we said, we unquestionably want that for all of Israel. Now, it's important also to say these texts are older than the modern state of Israel. They meant the Jewish community at that time. But we don't just want the Jewish community. And it's interesting, actually, if you notice, I'll stop being nerdy in a moment. If you were to jump back to the Amidah, and especially the silent part of the Amidah that we have, the words that we've added, and actually, to be honest, those words were started before I got here at Temple Israel, although I've used them in other communities. They actually have written out V'al kol yoshvei tevel, which literally means in all of the peoples of the earth. They put that in the Amidah for the same words, and it's strange to me that they decided to do it during the Amidah, but they didn't decide to put it in the mourner's Kaddish. And I think the reason is that the Amidah is a moment where we're reflecting on the world, we're thinking about things in the general world, and it's less personal. But the mourner's Kaddish, we've decided, that's our moment to mourn. But I think about, I promise I'll make this answer shorter, sorry. Similarly, I've been in Israel at times where I remember, like it was yesterday, doing Havdalah, and I was with a group of Americans, Israelis, and Palestinians. Now, Americans mostly don't have Hebrew. The Israelis, they have a little bit of Hebrew. Just kidding, they have a lot of Hebrew, right? But the Palestinians also understand Hebrew. And one of the lines talks about the Jewish community, but it was talking about having a peaceful moment together, but it didn't include people outside of the Jewish community. And I remember feeling uncomfortable because there were people who unquestionably we wanted to feel that peace literally in that circle who understood those words. Similarly with Mourner's Kaddish, we as a Jewish community are in a place where we're mourning the members of our community. This is specifically the mourner's prayer. It's a way longer answer than you probably were looking for. But we're mourning not just people who are Jewish, but people who are not Jewish as well. And so in Temple Israel, we've decided to add those words, V'al kol yoshvei tevel, saying that as we think about those that we remember, even those in our own families, we unquestionably need and have a space to say that we mourn those who are Jewish, but that also includes people who are not Jewish. So it's interesting to me that, again, this is before I got here, but Temple Israel decided that we would include all people in that hope for peace and comfort in a prayer of mourning. It's because our community and the bounds of our community have stretched a little bit more than they were in the past. That's what I think. Okay, next question for Cantor Cooper.
Okay, one more question. I can't guarantee it'll be for me.
Cantor Cooper,
Oh.
can you, I've been studying a lot about Teshuvah, and I read a really great book by a female rabbi, and I can't remember her name because I'm really bad with names, but it really went into what is Teshuvah, and it really explained it so well that I really feel like I understand it. But I'd like to try another topic in Judaism that has as much content. What would you recommend I study next?
Oh, wow. I think I'm going to, there's so much. There's so many things you could study. You could be studying specifically different commentaries on the Torah. There's hundreds of commentaries on the Torah. There's the Talmud. There's a book I have not read yet called the Amen Effect, right? Is it?
Oh, Sharon Brous.
Yeah, Sharon Brous, which I think would also be another deep dive into sort of gratitude. Are you thinking about something? Teshuvah is more of a concept, or?
More like what is the concept, and how as a good Jew, how would you go about doing Teshuvah effectively? So it's not just a matter of saying you're sorry and that's it. There's a whole lot more to Teshuvah, and it's really with the reflectful practice that I think, honestly, that I'm not going to make this same mistake again. So maybe, something like Tikkun Olam or something like that, because it's a very big concept, but yet it's a very important concept in Judaism. So what does it mean in order to do Tikkun Olam if I'm a Jew?
Can I share one of my very, very favorite books? After my long answer for Rick, I'll try to make this one short. Sorry, Rick. There was a man who was literally a Zen master. He went through the entire process of becoming a Zen master. I'm gonna.
I think so.
Yeah, and he had this experience. He became a Zen master, and then he also went to rabbinical school. And he wrote only a few books. Very sadly, we lost him at a fairly young age. He has a few books, one that's on Jewish meditation. It's beautiful. And he has another book, which is one of my favorite titles ever. The name of the book is called This is Real and You Are Completely Unprepared.
That's a good one. It's a really good book, yeah.
It's a book all about the process of the High Holy Days, Teshuvah, and how it connects to making our world a better place. Cannot recommend that book highly enough. This is Real and You Are Completely Unprepared. Even if you just got it for the title, right? It's such a great book. Yeah.
Great. That was a great answer.
But I'd spend much time going to Cantor Cooper's shelf for finding books too. Should we keep going?
Do it, yeah.
Okay. We're going to continue our service knowing that having the opportunity to sing and learn and discuss and create community creates a sanctuary. This space is a gorgeous space. And I do think that the memories that this place holds is a big part of what allows it to be sacred, but a whole nother part of that is simply each and every one of us bringing our hearts, our intention, and, creating a moment together. And so it's for that reason that it's not until now that we turn to our healing prayer, because we need the opportunity to kind of become a place of sanctuary. We know that there are members of our community who are in need of healing, in need of strength and love, support. And in addition to the very important and real physical healing that takes place when someone is in that place of need, there is a spiritual healing that takes place as well. And so this evening, we want to invite you to take a look at the names that are in our handout. And if you see a name you recognize, to reach out to that person. Part of the healing that we call for in this prayer is for us to offer and lend that support to each other in that way. And for all of us, I invite us to turn our hearts to those members who have recently come into a place of need. Together, I invite us to think of David Phillips, John Eric Brenton, Kathy Cimbalo and Meredith Cooper, Rick Dressner and Kendrick Erling, Marilyn Greenberg and Lori Samuels, Mervyn Sinaga, Ariel Citrick, and Andrea Weiss. If you are thinking of someone in particular on this holiday, it's our custom to invite you to rise at this point in the service. I invite you to share their name as my eyes meet yours, so that we might all hold that person in our hearts. Well, let's sing together. You'll find the words from Misha Berach on page 253 of our prayer books, page 253.
מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu, mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We continue on page 282 with the Aleinu. Page 282, please rise in body or in spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Our thoughts now turn to those members of our community who have died in recent days or in this season in years past. Together, our hearts are with all of those members who are observing Shiva and Shloshim, the 7 and 30 days after the death of someone near to them. So together, as we remember Charlotte Gladden, our hearts are with Adam. And as we remember Alan Moss, our hearts are with Leonie and Adam. As we remember Arthur Gale, our hearts are with Liz and Mark. And as we remember Robert Benjamin, and as we remember Richard Koppes, our hearts are with David and Sadie. As we remember Dottie Steinberg, our hearts are with Larry and Danielle. As we remember Frank Krisnowicz, our hearts are with Dale and Owen. As we remember Lori Spiegel, our hearts are with Shelley and Erwin. As we remember Molly Jacobson, our hearts are with Gerald and Sandra. Together as one community, we remember Sylvia Mannheim. And we also note and remember Gene Feldman, longtime Temple member who died on September 14th, and whose funeral will take place this Sunday. Additionally, we mark the yard site, the anniversary of the death of Joshua Alpern, Lily Barab, Gertrude Bort, Lillian Brown, Larry Castillo, Peggy Cohen, Jetty Cooperman, Rosalind Dower, Frank Decker, Alan Engerman, Diane Fike, B. Fletcher, Gertrude Frank, Janet Gonchak, Robert Gundry, Clara Haberman, Michael Heim, Woody Jaffe, Leonard Kiles, Sophie Christian, Violet Layden, Gilbert Lavin, Leo Lieb, Linda Levitsky, Isabel Lipman, Larry Mallon, Jack Pekar, Sylvia Pessin, Victor Ross, Paula Sachs, Fanny Schneider, Freda Spatz, Sarah Ann Stern, Ronnie Stoller, Ruth Stotland, Nathan Tall, Harold Warren, Wendy Warren, Mark Weber, and Marilyn Weinblatt. If you're thinking of someone in particular on this Shabbat, you'd like to share their name aloud, it's our custom to invite you to rise first. For those who choose, I invite you to share their names. I'd like to invite us to rise together as one community in love and in solidarity as we offer these words on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach ute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayachon v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam omel maya, Yitbarach, v'yitabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekudisha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alenu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Alinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yishvei tevel, v'imru. Amen. Zichronam libracha. May the memories of all of those near to us always be a source of blessing. I invite us together to say, Amen. I'd like to invite up a member of our board of directors, Lisa Hill, to share about some of the goings on at Temple Israel. The rest of the congregation can please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom. have an essay, so bear with me. Thank you all for being here tonight. We're glad to have you. Tomorrow morning, join us for this week's Torah study beginning at 8:45. Torah study is offered both in person and on Zoom. There will be no Shabbat morning services tomorrow. They'll be reciting Kaddish at the conclusion of Torah study. Yom Kippur begins this Wednesday evening. We hope you plan to join us in person or online for services. If you're not a member and wish to attend, we'd love to have you here. Please call the temple office and arrange for tickets. Next Shabbat, on Saturday, October 4th, we'll be having our monthly Shabbat Midbar at El Dorado Nature Center. Torah study also at 8:45, and then we follow that with a hike and a meditation. We want to make sure everyone puts on your calendars our new adult Simchat Torah celebration. It's going to be Saturday, October 11th at 8 p.m. It's going to be an Israeli-style Tel Aviv dance party, and it sounds like it's going to be so much fun. It's a whole new thing, so please try and join us for that. Every weekend, until all the hostages are home, we encourage all of our members in our community to participate and run for their lives. It's a short 1 kilometer walk to show support for the immediate release of the hostages held by Hamas. It takes about 18 minutes. We meet on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. at the corner of Ocean and Bay Shore. Please support our High Holy Days campaign and our Rick Falk Memorial High Holy Days food drive. Your financial support ensures the temple can continue to provide all we do for the community, and food donations of perishable items are accepted through the middle of October. Social Action Committee would like you to be aware of the following: Know Your Rights, red cards. Red cards will inform all citizens and residents and non-citizens, if you encounter U.S. immigration officers, what your rights are, and we have red cards in the foyer if you need them. Make sure to view our calendar and the website for other programs and services. If you have any questions, please call the office. We can help you out. And Shabbat Shalom.
Well, as we conclude our service this evening, we have a long-standing tradition at Temple Israel of sharing this last prayer as one community. And so I'm going to invite everyone to please rise. And if you are by yourself, if you would like, I'd like to invite you to kind of scooch on over to someone near to you, maybe someone in another aisle or wherever it might be. And for those, again, who choose, except for Mark, we're going to invite you to place your arms on the shoulders of one another. Let's conclude our service as one community, singing Oseh Shalom, reminding ourselves that the work of peace is right there in front of us, and that we have a reminder of it just looking around and seeing what a community looks like, such as this.
Ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Well, say hello to someone that you have not said hello to this evening, and wishing all of us a good and sweet Shabbat Shalom. We'll join together just in the foyer for our Kiddush and Motzi. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
And thank you, Bill, and thank you, David, up there on the organ.
Oh, love hearing your music. Yeah, this is